you've shot a lot with children, in Harry Potter, in even A Little Cats. There are a lot of children. Can an adult actor learn something from children?
Yeah, when they're great, there's no interruption. It's a bit like, because I went to art school. I'm always trying to creatively. When you're asked to paint the sky, and as a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, you just take a brush and you go like that across the top of the paper. So the sky is just a blue stripe. And that seems simple. And then some adult comes along and says, yeah, but the sky comes down through the tree. And that's a very disappointing day. Because I'm always trying to get back to that moment where that's the sky. Children still do that as actors.
In acting also.
Yeah. There's a moment in Little Chaos when I ask them all a question, and one of the little girls just says, yes.
Yes.
That wasn't in the script. She just believed that I was asking her the question, so she answered it. So we put it in the film.
I see. And acting in general, so Helen Bonham Carter was asked a question, what is acting for her? She said it's escaping from the reality. Is it the same for you?
Escaping from reality. Well, yes, it's true, but it's a choice. You choose to do it. It's not like the word escape sounds like you do it at a run, but I'm making a choice, so I'm happy to walk in a decisive. But no, it's creating another reality. So it's not really an escape from reality. In a way, it's making something more real.
You mentioned somewhere before that it's your dream to have your own theatre. Is it still your dream?
A bit late for that now.
Really?
Yeah, it needs a younger person to do that.
Okay, I see. But still, as a child, we always have some dreams. Did your dreams come true?
You know what it's like? I think Kate Blanchett said it in an interview. I mean, yes would be the answer in many ways, because you have to, at certain points in life, you have to just take a chance. And so, yes, I think I've been lucky, and I've worked hard. But also, and it was she who said it, the trouble with a horizon, you see a horizon, and as you move towards it, it just gets further away.
Right. There was some professor who talked about Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, Russian writers, and the contradiction between them, Tolstoy versus Dostoevsky. So he said that in Tolstoy world there are moral duties and planned facts, but in Dostoevsky it's just impulse and everything comes spontaneously. So what is closer to you?
Dostoevsky.
Really? I see.
Dostoevsky always thinking I must be a bit more like Tolstoy. Yes.
It's funny. And usually people say that in a real piece of art is usually love or death.
Really?
Really. And do you agree?
Okay. I don't know what I think about that, but anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And what inspires you? Or who inspires you? Because all artistic persons feel stressed sometimes and strained. So how can you overcome it?
Well, I think you just have to stay awake to the world that you live in and the circumstances you're in. and you know that you have it in Russian, but in English you say you put your finger up to the wind.
Nose up to the wind. It's in Russian.
Well, finger up to the wind means you lick your finger and then you put it up to the wind to feel the wind on the wet finger. Where's it going? What's it doing? And so I think it changes every day. Young people who I find very inspiring because of the brave choices they make and the way that they change me. If there's no point in just becoming more and more of a fixed point and more certain. I think the job is to become more and more. The more you know, the less you know. So I think the inspiration is just to try to stay open and to be in the world that you're in, because God knows it gets more and more shocking every day. And I don't know, it goes back to what we were saying before, present an alternative.
I see.
Just have a couple more questions.
Okay, thank you. And nowadays, young people are pressed with information, with all those electronic gadgets, and even they don't have free time to sit and think and to dream. Is it important?
Dreadful. I agree. It's terrible. It's unstoppable. I don't know what's going to happen, because young people are losing, I hope not all of them, are losing the ability to ask questions because they can think they can press a button and there's the truth. And then they become addicted to the button. I mean, the sight of groups of tourists in an art gallery all looking at their iPhones is horrendous. And asking questions. Nobody asks questions. People that are so full of certainty. I don't know.
Maybe art the way out of it.
It always is. And storytelling. So I suppose it depends how that develops, and there's no use being just some old fogey about it, because the world will keep changing. And we have to tell stories to each other, about each other, otherwise we're finished. It's the only way we understand what we're about. It's just how will we receive them, and will we have the level of concentration? Are we able to sit still for 2 hours quietly and receive a story? Because now we can pause it while the phone rings, or we're being sold something every 15 minutes. I don't have the answers, but I think there are enough young inspiring people out there who will reinvent the wheel, and it just won't be the wheel I knew, and that's but meanwhile we're destroying the planet, so what world are we actually talking about? So there's got to be actually a physical planet to be on, to make work in. But if we don't notice that we're destroying it because we're so selfish and obsessed with looking at ourselves, then it's just it's kind of slow suicide.
Thank you a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said, you are inspired by somebody else, and a lot of people are inspired by your work. They begin writing poems, books, and pictures.
Well, I'm very aware of letters and pictures and things that I get from Russia, so I mean, please pass that on, and I'm really grateful. It's a good love.
Okay, thank you. Actually, that was also a book inspired by you.
Oh, I've already seen this.
Really?
Yes.
It's
Yes, I have a copy of it at home, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the first time I wrote something in English.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, and who did the illustrations?
It's a girl from Ukraine, and actually it's
Now I remember. I always thought they were very flattering drawings, but
it all began before those events between Russia and Ukraine.
right.
And
What's happening in Ukraine now in terms of the arts?
I don't know in Ukraine, but yesterday it was in the news that a Ukrainian director was arrested and taken prisoner in Russia. So something dreadful happening. People just can't understand what is happening with our countries. It's because we were together all the time. I mean, Ukrainian and Russia, and I think the government makes everything to destroy this unity between our peoples.
The Russian government, or
I believe so.
yeah.
But I think that many people up there do what they want, not what people need.
It makes it very difficult because there's a film festival happening that begins with M, Molodova, or something like that, film festival in Ukraine, coming up soon in October, and it's mostly a children's film festival, or it's for young people. And they've asked me if I would send a video message, and you think, now we live in a world where I don't know that I can do that because it will be used by one side or another to say, oh well, he supports this or that, and not just me, so it's really difficult.
Yeah.
You just have to stay out of it.
So you prefer to stay out, huh?
Mostly because otherwise you can't make a piece of work that lives on its own, because it's always attached to you somehow, and it's difficult.
I see. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
And you flying back today?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. There's another thing from my sister. Actually, she made this bear, Russian bear, for you.
Very sweet. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, I shall be watching a new adaptation of Turgenev tomorrow night at the National.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're doing a play called, they changed the title. It's called 3 Days in the Country.
Yeah.
Instead of a month in the country.
Thank you.
Thank you.